Welcome to week 29. This week we're looking at child protection. Here are the questions. Let's read them and have a look. So, safeguarding, they all come from the safeguarding unit. 4.2, identify different types of abuse and bullying. Safeguarding 4.3, outline the possible signs, symptoms, indicators and behaviours that may cause concern in the context of safeguarding. And these first two we're going to do together, and look, they're both identify or outline. So this question worksheet can be done with bullet points. The other two go together. They are safeguarding 4.4. Describe the actions to take if a child or young person alleges harm or abuse in line with policies and procedures of own setting. So for 4.4, you do need to talk about in your own school. 4.5 is an explain question. Explain the rights that children, young people and their carers have in situations where harm or abuse is suspected or alleged. Okay, so let's have a look at what you've got to do. I've put here for number 2, this is quite a difficult topic to write about, and here are some useful numbers in case you as an adult need any support. It's also got the Childline number for children to ring up for support. So just, it can be quite upsetting if you've got anything in your past or something recently has happened with a child that you know. This could be useful. So here's the first worksheet for this week, and it's about the 4 categories of child abuse and what behaviours would give you cause for concern. So if you click on this, we'll have a look. There are just one side here to fill in. Let's have a look. So we're looking at 2 identify or outline questions. That's bullet points. And it says here there are 4 categories of child abuse: physical, sexual, emotional, and neglect. That's how they're categorised in this country. You need to identify the signs and symptoms. That is what you can see on the child. And then outline the behaviours. How might their behaviour change? That's the indicators and behaviours. You can use these pictures as your examples there, a bit humorous just to give you an idea. Don't forget to mention bullying. Bullying is just another form of child abuse where the perpetrator is not an adult but another child. So it would be relevant to the physical, sexual and emotional sections. Put in a bullet point in each of those about bullying. Let's scroll down. So I've done one for you here. I've started physical abuse with a bullet point, and I've said a symptom to look out for, a sign, is bruises in unusual places. We know where children should have bruises. They should have bruises on their knees, maybe on their elbows, quite often on their forehead. Where they shouldn't have bruises on their arm, on their back, on their belly. Those are very difficult places for a child to bruise by falling over or rough and tumble sort of play. But down here I've put link to that. What behaviour might you be looking out for as a teaching assistant? What would give you cause for concern? Maybe a child who's unwilling to get changed for PE. They might have a bruise that they're hiding. They might have been self-harming as a result of abuse and not want you to see those signs. So that's the worksheet. Fill in the 4 different types of abuse, and then I think you can just do one box for the behaviours because they're probably quite overlapping. If you did a box for each of the 4 types of abuse, you'd be repeating yourself. So that's the first worksheet. Let's go back to Moodle and see what help there is for this. So I have copied for you the relevant pages from Louise Burnham's book. That's pages 42 to 45. Everything you need is there, or it's set out in detail and very clearly on the NSPCC website. Preventing abuse, signs and symptoms. Let's have a look at the second worksheet now for this week. That's the second 2 questions. It's all about disclosing information. This is disclosing is when a child comes to you and says something that makes you believe they have been abused. So let's have a look at this worksheet. Here we go. So I've started this worksheet with a quiz for you, a child protection quiz. You have to decide whether you agree or disagree with each answer. There's no right or wrong answers here, just to get you thinking, really. This is useful though. There is a definition of child abuse here. For it to be child abuse, the child must be under 18 years of age. Those are the 4 different types of injury that we use in this country. And just to say that abuse is usually perpetrated by an adult who has a position of trust, an adult that the child knows. A stranger jumping out of a bush, very unlikely. And it says here, a child may also be the victim of abuse where the abuser is another child. That would be bullying in that situation. What have you got to do then? Well, I've set out here a brief overview of child protection procedures in a school, but I would say make sure you read your own school policy. You should do that anyway, but you also need it for this question. So here is the overview, what you should do, and here is some things that you shouldn't do here. Don't jump to conclusions, don't ask leading questions. You should be open and approachable, find a quiet place to talk, reassure the child that they've done the right thing by telling, take their confidences seriously, explain that you will get help, but you can't keep it a secret. You might have to tell other adults. Write down records of what was said and report directly to the person in school with responsibility for child protection. Don't go and tell another TA, don't tell the class teacher, go to the safeguarding officer. And to help you answer this question, we've got a scenario for you here to answer, a case study. So there are 3 questions here. I've just noticed it goes 4, 2, 3 instead of 1. I'm going to change that now. Can't count. If you answer the questions here, pick one scenario and then use it to answer the questions. All the information you need is on this page up here above and in your own school child protection policy. A couple of sentences in each box and you're done. The final question here asks you to explain. This was a describe one here, so it does need full sentences in these boxes. And then this one says explain. Explain the rights that children, young people and their carers have. So you need to mention the rights of the children and their parents, because the abuse at this point is only suspected or alleged. So people still have rights. Let's go back to Moodle to see where you can get this information. So here again, I've given you the relevant pages from Louise Burnham. It's got disclosure and parents' rights. You should have a look at your own school child protection policy. If you can't get hold of it, here's one from Hannah Moore Primary School, very good, particularly pages 16 to 20 on what staff should know, and the pages after that tell you what to do. This leaflet from South Gloucestershire is really good on parents' rights to help you with 2.4.5. Okay, so complete the 2 worksheets. Just bullet points for the first one. You've got some describing and explaining to do for this second one. Complete the worksheets, send them to me.